Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will dive deep into the thrilling twists and turns set to unfold on Wednesday, April 30th in Port Charles. From explosive outbursts to hidden threats and unexpected alliances, this episode promises to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Let's explore the drama in reverse order from the original storyline, with enriched details, creative rephrasings, and intriguing new elements woven into each segment to give you a comprehensive preview of the day's events. Drew's shocking meltdown and Nina's dangerous scheme. Kicking off our recap, all attention will undeniably be on Drew Kane as the night reaches its dramatic peak with an unforgettable public breakdown. According to insider glimpses from GH's weekly teaser clips, Drew's emotions will spiral out of control in a very public setting, leaving onlookers stunned. Lulu Spencer, ever the opportunist with her phone at the ready, will capture every raw moment of this meltdown on video, possibly setting the stage for viral chaos in Port Charles. Sources whisper that this spectacle is the culmination of a meticulously crafted plot by Nina Reeves, who is pulling no punches to sabotage Drew's personal life. Nina, with a steely determination in her eyes, has handed over a vial of ketamine to her accomplice, Jacinda, along with explicit instructions to orchestrate a scandalous bedroom setup. With a sly grin, Nina has forecasted Drew's imminent downfall, banking on Jacinda's cunning to shatter his bond with Willow Corinthos. Imagine the tension as Drew, unaware of the chemical trap set for him, stumbles through the night, his judgment clouded and his actions erratic, a ticking time bomb ready to detonate. Behind the scenes, Nina's obsession with destroying Drew might stem from past grudges, perhaps tied to business betrayals or personal slights that have festered over time. This isn't just a plan, it's a vendetta painted with the dark hues of revenge. As the episode unfolds, expect shocking revelations tied to Drew's drugged state. Will he say or do something irreparable in front of Willow or others? Jocelyn's ambitious move and Anna's growing suspicions. Shifting focus to another corner of Port Charles, Jocelyn Jacks will seize an opportunity to advance her academic aspirations by engaging in a candid conversation with Professor Henry Dalton at a local bar. With a determined glint in her eye, Jocelyn will inquire about ways to boost her odds of securing the coveted research assistant position. Picture her leaning over a sticky bar counter, her voice laced with ambition, as she probes the professor for insider tips, perhaps even offering to take on extra projects or showcasing a unique perspective from her tumultuous life in Port Charles. Meanwhile, on a more shadowy note, Anna Devane finds herself wrestling with unsettling doubts about this very same Professor Dalton. Having recently learned of his relocation from California to Port Charles, Anna's detective instincts kick into high gear. Could there be a hidden link between the professor and the chaotic events surrounding Emma Scorpio Drake during her time in California? As Anna pieces together fragmented clues, maybe a cryptic phone call overheard, or a suspicious overlap in timelines, her concern deepens. She might even dig into old case files late at night, her desk littered with coffee cups and notes, searching for patterns that scream danger. This subplot adds a layer of intrigue, painting Dalton as a potential wildcard in an already volatile town. Portia's unease and Jordan's bold stand against Sidwell. At the Savoy, a seemingly casual yet tension-filled exchange unfolds as Portia Robinson stumbles upon Curtis Ashford in deep conversation with his ex-wife Jordan. The air thickens with unspoken questions as Portia, her brow furrowed, wonders what urgent matter could draw such an intense discussion between the two. Perhaps she notices Curtis's protective stance, or the way Jordan's eyes flash with defiance, stirring a flicker of jealousy or doubt within her. Curtis, however, is focused on cautioning Jordan, who exudes unshakable confidence in her covert mission against the dangerous Jen Sidwell. Jordan, with a smirk playing on her lips, reassures Curtis that the real question isn't whether she can handle Sidwell, but whether Sidwell can withstand her calculated moves. She's positioned herself as an insider threat, a shadow within his empire, possibly gathering intel during late-night stakeouts or decoding encrypted messages under the guise of loyalty. Curtis, torn between admiration and fear for her safety, might recall past missions where Jordan's boldness saved lives yet cost them dearly in emotional scars. This dynamic adds a rich texture to their interaction, hinting at unresolved feelings and high-stakes risks that could reshape their futures. Drew sets fierce warning and Portia sits dilemma. Elsewhere at General Hospital, the atmosphere crackles with intensity as Drew Kane storms into Portia Robinson's office, his voice sharp with urgency. He delivers a stern ultimatum, commanding Portia to comply with his demands or face the consequences of him exposing sensitive information to Curtis Ashford. Visualize Drew pacing the small office, his clenched jaw and pointed gestures underscoring the gravity of his threat. Perhaps he's uncovered a secret about hospital mismanagement or a personal misstep Portia desperately wants buried. This could tie back to a clandestine deal or a hidden patient record that, if revealed, might tarnish reputations. Portia, caught off guard, might grapple with her options, her mind racing through potential fallout as she stares at patient charts, weighing loyalty against self-preservation. This confrontation isn't just a power play, it's a chess game with emotional pawns, hinting at deeper fissures in the hospital's hierarchy. Will Portia bend under Drew's pressure, or will she find a way to turn the tables? Marco and Lucas deepen their connection. On a lighter yet equally compelling note, Marco Rios and Lucas Jones carve out a slice of tenderness amid Port Charles's chaos. During Tuesday's episode, the pair will share meaningful moments that fortify their budding romance, each smile and touch weaving a stronger thread between them. Imagine them strolling through the park near the hospital, sharing quiet laughs over shared memories of med school mishaps or debating the best late-night diner in town. Their conversation might drift to dreams of a future together, Lucas envisioning a cozy home filled with family, while Marco dreams of adventurous travels post-residency. This interlude serves as a breather, a reminder of love's quiet power against the backdrop of deceit and danger. Yet lurking beneath their bliss, could there be unspoken fears of how Port Charles's darker undercurrents might test their newfound closeness? Their storyline injects a dose of warmth, balancing the episode's heavier themes with hope. Gio Sepp's disturbing doubts and Jason Sepp's stern advice. Finally, we turn to Giovanni Gio Palmieri, whose world is rattled by startling revelations courtesy of Tracy Quartermaine. Tracy, with her characteristic blend of charm and ruthlessness, will deliver jaw-dropping updates aimed at painting Sonny Corinthos in a sinister light. Picture her sitting Gio down in the Quartermaine mansion, her voice low and laced with warning, as she recounts tales of Sonny's alleged misdeeds, perhaps fabricating a story of betrayal tied to a long-buried business deal or a personal loss she pins on him. Gio, torn between loyalty and suspicion, will later seek counsel from Jason Morgan, hoping for clarity. Jason, ever the stoic protector, will advise Gio to bury Tracy's words and avoid digging into Sonny's past, his tone carrying a weight that hints at unseen dangers. Imagine Jason's piercing gaze as he grips Gio's shoulder, urging him to let sleeping dogs lie, possibly recalling his own painful history with Sonny's darker choices. Yet, Gio's unease persists. Could he have glimpsed something himself, like an odd late-night meeting or a cryptic warning from a stranger, that fuels his growing mistrust? This internal conflict promises to gnaw at Gio, setting the stage for explosive confrontations down the line. As we wrap up this extended preview, it's clear that Wednesday's episode of General Hospital is brimming with emotional detonations, secret schemes, and tender reprieves. From Drew's catastrophic outburst orchestrated by Nina to Gio's wavering trust in Sonny, every storyline pulses with stakes higher than ever. Next, we will unravel the escalating drama within the Davis family as deep-seated tensions threaten to fracture their bonds beyond repair. In Port Charles, emotions are running high, with Molly Lansing Davis taking a fierce stand against her father, Rick Lansing, in the wake of his near-fatal car accident. Meanwhile, loyalties are tested, ultimatums loom, and hidden resentments bubble to the surface. Join us as we dive into a freshly crafted narrative, brimming with creative reimaginings, expanded details, and inventive twists that amplify the core conflicts of this gripping storyline. Molly sits uncompromising stand against Rick. At the heart of this family storm is Molly Lansing Davis, who is refusing to hold back her fury as she confronts her father Rick, while he's still confined to a hospital bed at General Hospital. Picture the sterile, antiseptic-scented room, monitors beeping faintly in the background, as Molly stands at the foot of Rick's bed, her eyes blazing with a mix of hurt and resolve. She's not just visiting to check on his recovery from the harrowing car accident, she's there to lay down a stark reality check that could redefine their relationship forever. The crux of her anger centers on Ava Jerome, a woman Molly views as the architect of devastation in their family, particularly for her role in the catastrophic surrogate pregnancy saga that left her sister, Christina Corinthos Davis, emotionally shattered. Molly isn't sugarcoating her feelings. She sees Ava as a toxic force, a living emblem of betrayal, and she's incensed that Rick would even entertain a connection with someone who inflicted such pain. In a voice trembling with conviction, Molly stops just short of issuing a direct ultimatum, though her words drip with the implication that Rick's bond with Ava could cost him dearly. She might remind him of late-night calls she made to Christina, hearing her sister sob over a child she thought would heal their family, only to be left broken by Ava's machinations. For Molly, this confrontation is less about control and more about defending the wounded honor of her sister and herself, yet her rigid stance risks pushing Rick away at a time when he's already vulnerable. Rick's dilemma: love or family loyalty? On the other side of this emotional battlefield stands Rick Lansing, grappling with the weight of his choices while still bandaged and bedridden. Imagine him, pale but defiant, propped up against hospital pillows as he faces Molly's piercing accusations with a conflicted heart. Rick finds himself caught in a brutal tug-of-war between his burgeoning feelings for Ava and the familial ties that have always anchored him. He's not blind to Ava's checkered past. Her schemes have left scars across Port Charles, especially in the wreckage of Christina's surrogacy ordeal, but Rick clings to a fragile hope that redemption is possible. Perhaps he's seen glimpses of vulnerability in Ava during quiet moments, like a late-night confession over coffee where she expressed regret for her actions, or a kind gesture toward a stranger that hinted at a desire to change. Rick argues passionately with Molly that people can evolve, that he's not willing to abandon someone striving for betterment, even if the road is rocky. Yet beneath his defense lies a gnawing doubt: could pursuing Ava at this fraught juncture be an act of selfishness? As he stares out the hospital window at the gray Port Charles skyline, Rick might wrestle with the realization that his heart's desires could alienate him from Molly and the rest of the Davis clan. The stakes are higher than ever, and with each passing day he risks losing the daughter who once looked up to him, especially as whispers of his accident's suspicious circumstances begin to surface. The ghost of Christina sits, pain haunts the conflict. Hovering over this father-daughter clash is the specter of Christina Corinthos Davis, whose emotional fragility remains a raw wound for the entire family. While she may not be physically present in Rick's hospital room during Molly's confrontation, her presence looms large in every heated word. Picture Molly's mind flashing back to countless nights spent consoling Christina. The two sisters huddled on a couch with tissues scattered around, as Christina mourned the loss of a child she carried with hope, a child meant to mend their fractured family, only to have that dream crushed under the weight of deceit tied to Ava. Molly's protectiveness over Christina isn't just sibling loyalty, it's a fierce commitment to shield her from further harm, especially as Christina continues to rebuild her shattered trust. New whispers in Port Charles suggest Christina might be seeking therapy to cope, perhaps confiding in a counselor about nightmares of betrayal that jolt her awake at night. For Molly, allowing Rick to cozy up to Ava feels like a slap in the face to Christina's suffering a betrayal of their shared pain. This unspoken pact between the sisters fuels Molly's resolve, but it also deepens the chasm with Rick, who may not fully grasp the depth of Christina's lingering trauma or the role his actions play in reopening old wounds. Alexis' potential alliance with Molly. Adding another layer to this family feud, Alexis Davis, the matriarch with a sharp tongue and sharper instincts, is poised to throw her weight behind Molly's hardline stance. Envision Alexis pacing her law office, her desk cluttered with case files, as she mulls over the latest updates on Rick's condition and his troubling alliance with Ava. Known for her protective nature and a knack for cutting through pretense, Alexis likely sees Rick's involvement with Ava as a reckless gamble that endangers the family's fragile unity. She might relish the opportunity to stand by Molly, perhaps even crafting a pointed speech she plans to deliver to Rick herself, something laced with legal metaphors about breaking contracts of trust. Alexis could be fueled by her own past grievances with Ava, recalling a time when Ava's manipulations nearly derailed her career or personal life, adding a personal stake to her disapproval. If Rick persists in ignoring the family's concerns, Alexis might orchestrate a united front with Molly, potentially drafting an emotional letter or staging a family intervention to force Rick to see the fallout of his choices. Her involvement promises to escalate the tension, turning a personal dispute into a full-blown Davis family showdown, one that could leave Rick feeling more isolated than ever. The shadow of suspicion over Rick's accident. Introducing a darker twist to this saga, murmurs around Port Charles hint at something sinister surrounding Rick's near-fatal car accident. While Molly focuses on Ava's influence, there's a growing undercurrent of speculation that the crash might not have been a mere stroke of bad luck. Imagine hushed conversations at the hospital cafeteria, where nurses and visitors speculate about tampered brake lines, or a shadowy figure seen near Rick's car the night before the incident. Could someone, perhaps even within the family, have orchestrated this as a warning or act of vengeance? A new character, a mechanic with a shady past named Eddie Voss, might emerge in the storyline, claiming to have serviced Rick's car and noticed odd wear on the brakes that didn't seem accidental. Rick himself might start piecing together fragmented memories of that fateful drive tires screeching, a sudden loss of control on a rain-slicked road, and wonder if there's more to the story. This subplot injects a chilling mystery into the family drama, raising questions about whether Rick's relationship with Ava has made him a target or if another grudge, possibly tied to Christina's volatile emotions, lies at the root. Will Rick confront these suspicions head-on, or will he use them as leverage to challenge Molly's loyalty to her sister? The impending fallout and Rick's risky gambit. As tensions crescendo, the Davis family stands on the brink of a seismic rift that could reshape their dynamics for years to come. Visualize Rick, still weakened but fueled by stubbornness, contemplating a dangerous play if Molly won't budge. Might he dredge up painful truths to shake her unwavering defense of Christina? There's a chance Rick could reveal a shocking theory about the accident, pointing fingers at Christina herself for tampering with his car in a moment of desperation or rage over his connection to Ava. Picture him whispering this accusation to Molly during a tense hospital visit, his voice low but cutting, as he suggests that her saintly image of Christina might be flawed. Such a move would be a gamble of epic proportions, risking not just Molly's wrath but the entire family's scorn. Meanwhile, Molly, driven by righteous anger, might solidify her ultimatum if Rick refuses to sever ties with Ava. She's prepared to distance herself, cutting off contact during a time when family support is crucial for his recovery. The fallout promises to be messy, with emotional debris scattered across Port Charles as alliances shift and buried resentments erupt. Will Rick double down on his bond with Ava, or will the threat of losing Molly force him to reconsider? As we close this in-depth preview, it's evident that the Davis family saga on ABC General Hospital is teetering on a knife's edge, with heartbreak and suspicion lurking around every corner. From Molly's fierce loyalty to Christina to Rick's perilous entanglement with Ava, every choice carries weighty consequences. Next, we will immerse ourselves in the heart-pounding developments coming up in Port Charles for the week of April 28th, May 2nd, as revealed in the latest electrifying preview. Fans, get ready for a roller coaster of suspense, unexpected twists, and life-or-death stakes that will keep you glued to your screens. From shocking revelations at the hospital to deadly threats lurking in the shadows, this week promises to redefine danger for Sonny Corinthos and those around him. Let's dive into a completely reimagined narrative, enriched with creative spins, intricate new details, and fresh elements that amplify the core drama of the original storyline. A stunning revelation shakes Carly and Brick. Kicking off the week's drama, the preview trailer ignites with a jaw-dropping exchange between Carly Spencer and Brick at General Hospital. Visualize the bustling hospital corridor, the antiseptic scent lingering in the air, as Brick, Sonny Corinthos' loyal enforcer, pulls Carly aside with a grave expression etched across his face. His voice, low and urgent, delivers the bombshell. We've got a serious problem on our hands. Carly, typically unflappable, freezes mid-step, her eyes widening in disbelief as the weight of Brick's cryptic warning sinks in. Perhaps Brick hints at a betrayal within their inner circle, or a leaked detail about Sonny's vulnerable state post-surgery that has fallen into the wrong hands. Carly's mind might race back to late-night strategy sessions with Sonny, recalling whispered fears of enemies closing in now. Those fears seem to manifest in real time. This moment isn't just a conversation, it's a seismic shift, signaling that the protective walls around Sonny are crumbling faster than anticipated. Could this situation tie to a rival mob faction sniffing around, or is it a personal vendetta from someone closer than they think? As Carly processes the news, her shock might morph into a steely determination to safeguard her ex-husband, setting the stage for her to take bold, perhaps reckless, action in the days ahead. Sonny's precarious recovery and a sinister intruder. Rewinding to the cliffhanger from the Friday, April 25th episode, viewers were left on tenterhooks regarding Sonny Corinthos' fate following a critical surgery in an LA hospital. Picture the dimly lit recovery room, machines humming softly, as Sonny lies in a fragile state, his successful operation a beacon of hope amidst a sea of uncertainty. The good news of his survival is swiftly overshadowed by a chilling turn of events. A mysterious nurse, her demeanor unsettlingly calm, slips into the room wielding a syringe filled with a murky, unidentified liquid. Her stealthy approach is almost cinematic, the glint of the needle catching the light as she nears Sonny's bedside. Then, in a gasp-inducing moment, Sonny's eyes snap open, locking onto hers with a mix of groggy confusion and primal instinct. This isn't just a random act, it's a clear sign that an unseen predator is targeting the mob boss with lethal intent. Perhaps this nurse is a hired hand for a shadowy figure from Sunny's past, maybe a disgruntled former ally who lost everything in a botched deal years ago. The tension in this scene is palpable, as viewers wonder whether Sunny's weakened state will hinder his ability to defend himself, or if his survival instincts will kick in with ferocious precision. This encounter promises to be a defining moment, highlighting the ever-present danger that haunts Sunny even in his most vulnerable hour. Sunny's fight for survival and a deadly confrontation. As the scene with the shady nurse unfolds, the stakes couldn't be higher for Sunny Corinthos. Lying in that hospital bed, his body still battered from surgery, he's far from the invincible mob boss Port Charles knows. Yet, imagine the fire in his eyes as he registers the threat looming over him, the syringe poised like a venomous fang ready to strike. It's highly unlikely that Sunny, with his iron will and storied history of dodging death, will succumb to this attack. More plausible is a desperate struggle where he manages to wrest control, perhaps using a sudden burst of strength to grab the nurse's wrist, sending the syringe skittering across the tiled floor. But how far will he go to neutralize this danger? In the heat of the moment, could Sunny's self-defense turn fatal for the intruder? Envision a chaotic scuffle where, in a tragic twist, the nurse is accidentally pricked by her own weapon, a lethal dose meant for Sunny now coursing through her veins instead. This potential outcome would be a double-edged sword. It keeps Sunny safe for now, but it also silences a key witness who might have revealed the mastermind behind the plot. The incident might leave Sunny haunted, staring at his trembling hands in the aftermath, questioning if his violent past will forever taint even his acts of survival. This confrontation underscores that in Sunny's world, safety is an illusion, and every victory comes with a cost. The quest for answers amidst rising threats. In the wake of this near-fatal encounter, Sunny might seize the opportunity to turn the tables and extract vital intelligence if the nurse survives the altercation. Picture him, still catching his breath, leaning over her with a menacing glare, demanding to know who sent her and why. His voice, hoarse from pain and medication, carries the weight of a man who's tired of being hunted. Perhaps he offers her a deal: protection in exchange for names recalling old mob tactics he's used in darker days. However, the looming question remains, will she crack under pressure, or does her silence hint at a deeper, more organized threat? A new character, a hospital security guard named Marcus Tate with ties to underground networks, could enter the fray, offering Sunny a tip about a coded message he overheard the nurse muttering on a phone call, something about final payment upon completion. This clue might send Sunny spiraling into paranoia, realizing the attack wasn't a lone act but part of a meticulously planned assault. The mystery of the puppet master pulling the strings continues to elude everyone, heightening the sense of dread in Port Charles. Each unanswered question acts like a ticking clock, reminding Sunny and his allies that the next strike could be even deadlier. A perplexing conspiracy tightens its grip. Adding to the intrigue, the preview hints that this latest attempt on Sunny's life is shrouded in enigma, largely because so few in his tight-knit circle were aware of his surgery location in LA. Imagine hushed discussions among Carly, Brick, and other trusted confidants in a cramped hospital waiting room, their faces etched with confusion as they dissect who could have leaked such sensitive information. Was it an inside job, a trusted associate turned traitor for the right price? Or perhaps a sophisticated eavesdropping operation by a tech-savvy enemy, a new rival introduced as Elena Voss, a cunning underworld tech expert with a grudge against Sunny for a territorial clash years prior. Elena might have planted bugs in seemingly innocuous places, like a flower delivery sent to Sunny's room, capturing every whispered plan. This breach of security sends a chilling message: no one is safe, and privacy is a luxury Sunny can no longer afford. The tightness of the information loop makes the betrayal, if that's what it is, even more personal, forcing Sunny's inner circle to eye each other with suspicion. As theories multiply, Carly might dig into hospital records herself, posing as a concerned family member to charm a clerk into revealing visitor logs, hoping to spot an unfamiliar name tied to the chaos. The ripple effects of an unseen enemy. As the week progresses, the fallout from this attempted attack on Sunny will reverberate through Port Charles, keeping everyone on edge. Visualize the once confident corridors of power now tinged with paranoia, bodyguards doubling their patrols around Sunny's room, Carly snapping at anyone who lingers too long near the ICU. If the nurse meets a tragic end during the struggle, her death could serve a dual purpose in the storyline. It eliminates an immediate threat while preserving the anonymity of the orchestrator, ensuring the mystery festers like an open wound. This anonymity keeps the tension alive, as Sunny's crew scrambles to fortify defenses without knowing where the next blow will land. perhaps a memorial vigil for the nurse, staged by curious locals, becomes a hotspot for rumors whispers of her having a secret lover with mob ties or a hidden ledger of payments found in her locker. These tidbits, whether true or fabricated, fuel the narrative that danger is omnipresent and trust is a scarce commodity. Sonny himself might sit alone in his hospital bed at night, the city lights flickering through the window, pondering how many more lives will be caught in the crossfire of his enemies' vendettas before the true culprit is unmasked. As we wrap up this expansive sneak peek into the week of April 28th, May 2nd on ABC General Hospital, one thing is crystal clear: Sonny Corinthos' world is more treacherous than ever. From Carly and Brick's alarming discovery to the deadly dance with a mysterious nurse, every moment pulses with suspense. Who is behind the relentless attacks, and will Sonny emerge unscathed from this latest threat?